earlier we were talking about fasting. We were talking about, doing stuff, going through a season where you're willing to put down your relationship with something in order to create a stronger bond or create in general a relationship with God. We take that pretty serious, right? When it comes to our relationship with God, we know that one of the most valuable things we have in our lives, which is our love, our family, our relationship, and our dynasty. Follow at Duncan Dynasty on Instagram right now, and follow the Dynasty on TikTok. But anyways, that's our biggest, our most valuable thing that we have. We can lose everything else for me as long as I don't lose you. That's it. As long as I don't lose her, we can move wherever, this house to the next house, to the apartment, to sleeping under a bridge, but not each other. Okay? But all these other, and that relationship, as valuable as it is, was a gift from God. Wouldn't have that without our relationship with God. God wanting you to have something, being in His favor, to have something that is good for your spiritual health and something you just love. I think you're beautiful and all that, but you also you have a dope mind, and your spirit is what instantly. And I don't, guys, y'all know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you go, yeah. But you see pretty girls all the time, like real talk. And we in the social media era where contouring is ridiculous, right? Like anybody could look like something almost. But I'm being serious. Now, my wife don't wear makeup like that, but
not yet.
Right. but I'm saying, when you got me, I know what you look like, like to the bone, what you look like, right? But it's like that is that relationship that was given to me by God. So any relationship with anything I have, whether it be, we can get to the stuff that really have people hooked, right? So list all your drugs here. We ain't gonna demonize not one of them, but list all your drugs here. List all your other vices here. List all your crazy habits that create addiction for you here. List some of those bad relationships that were not given to you by God. Right? There's things you be holding on to, and it's like, yo, I think that person should have been out the door
a long time ago.
While ago. You still there, actively contributing to a relationship in the graveyard. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, all the other stuff that you have that we list right there on the screen, list it all, right? All that should be underneath your relationship with God. That's just how we were raised, but also what we discovered and we learned through life. So at this point, it's beyond the way we were raised. Right. It's more about the relationship that really, what God is doing in our lives, how He shows up in our lives, how we begin to understand God through His Word. We begin to understand that living selflessly is really like the best way to live. Being willing to do for others, to serve God. And I know that for a fact, because even people who they're not really faith-driven people, they maybe claim they're agnostic or atheists and stuff like that, you can still find people who say you should give more than you receive. Or you should do a lot of giving. They'll at least agree with the fact that you should give. Well, behind that comes from being an act of love. God is love. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the truth of the matter is, everybody believes in something that's godly. And that's just the truth. But when it comes to fasting, the real purpose that we've learned about fasting is we are trying to get closer to God. It is trying to make your relationship with God super tight, to the point where you understand God more. You know the difference when it's God or it's ego. You know when to be more patient, because you understand how God works more than you understood before, and you understand that that is your God. You are staking claim that that's my God. When we say that, and even earlier when I said everybody has a different God, some people make money their God.
Right.
Some people make sex their God, promiscuity or whatever, right? Their God. They make weed their God. They make porn their God. So anything that you're willing to run to for comfort, right? Versus running to the ultimate comforter, right? The person that literally created all this dope stuff.
Right.
You know, you literally run into the creations instead of the creator. Even when I say it right now in that way, sounds illogical. It doesn't make sense. That's weird, right? So why not go to the person where you, instead of giving you one blessing, blessings can flow in abundance? Why would you not do that? You know, and for a lot of us, it's simply because distractions are a mug, bro. Like,
they're everywhere, and they don't stop.
They don't stop. And it's new distractions. Oh, the other one is new distractions sometimes easy to overcome when you're actively working on yourself. It's the distractions that are comfortable, that you're used to, that can take you away from reading the word, listening to somebody talk about the word, listening to positivity over negativity just because it's what's popping.
Right.
You know, so you could talk about a little bit more about our personal fast in this season. I know you already kind of started getting into it. How has it been, first of all, during this season of fasting? Just tell me, how's it felt? What are some things you've noticed?
It's been tough.
Okay.
So I'll start with like what clicked for me to do the fast in the first place.
Oh yeah, please.
So it was like, okay, I'm gonna be very transparent. Hot, very hot, humble, open, and transparent. So, it was around Thanksgiving, and we were all hanging out as a family.
Ooh.
We were in Louisiana.
Now get ready for the story.
You know, and y'all know we consume cannabis on a regular, like regular, like that's our medicine, you know, multiple times per day. And so we were hanging out with family in Louisiana, you know, consuming, and probably over-consumed a little bit. That is where the conscious consumption needs to come in.
Back it up, rewind it, play it again.
But you be confusing me with that. And I kind of just, you know, had a little mental breakdown a little bit. And I was like, it got to a point where like, and this has happened before actually, like when I get too high, like I do believe there's a such thing as too high, and to the point where I get super paranoid and I feel like everybody's against me.
Everybody,
like everybody's in on a plan against me. Now I can laugh about it, but
Lord,
at the time, like this was a real thing that was happening in my mind, and like it was so bad. And like I was crying, and I had to pull Jarrell aside and be like, "You're against me right now?" Like we had to have a deep conversation, and he really had to like calm me down, get it together. I'm not against you. I'm your partner. I'm not going anywhere.
Anchor activity. People.
Yes. It really had to anchor me and bring me back down to earth because I was up there by Pluto.
The importance of an anchor.
Right.
I don't care what you take or what you're doing.
And this was like, mind you, yes, we're around family.
Right.
But even around family, like, sometimes you feel like you can't be like your complete self, like your whole open self, like unfiltered type of self. And so that kind of made me like close down a little bit. And then like, cause we were like playing a game or something, like asking questions about your partner and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And I was like, I just feel like I can't really express my real opinions about these questions because I was caring too much about what everyone else would think about my opinion.
Right.
So it was a whole mess. And after that moment, I was like, ugh, it happened again. I got too high. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then also I feel like, you know, when you get too high, it starts bringing up like old feelings you have about yourself. Because when we had that conversation earlier in the day about, you know, stuff we felt like we could work on in our relationship. So that's me overthinking the stuff that I need to work on and just feeling like I'm a bad partner totally. And Jarrell came here to drop me off with my family so he could run away and divorce me.
It's deep.
Do y'all hear how crazy that sounds?
Yeah. But I will tell you this, right? So in this story, and I'm glad you're getting into it, not just simply saying, oh, I fasted this and this is what it is. I'm getting that. In that part, one, something that shows up to me that like helps me to anchor you and stuff like that is I understand that we all have our things, right? I always try to, insecurities, right? Thank you. We all have our insecurities, and a lot of times, if you're lucky to be an anchor for the other one, your partner's insecurities aren't necessarily insecurities. Now, if you got the same ones, whoo, therapy, prayer, psychologist, work on it. Just figure out what you need to do mentally, spiritually, whatever to get through that. But luckily for us, we have different types of insecurities. Things I'm insecure about, Jasmine is not insecure about. Things she's insecure about, I am not. So in these moments, it's the perfect opportunity for us to be anchors for each other. One thing that was important was, one, taking that in. Hey, it's not silly. No, we're laughing now because, you know, you got to laugh sometimes to get through
now
that stuff.
We're past it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can talk about it and be okay and laugh about it. But
Purpose of the podcast, man.
Yeah.
No, for real. So I first had to give her grace and just be like, because I'm talking to her in that moment, I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And she's like, but you said this. No. And you know, she even made what I would say, I did not like this, but she talked to her sister about it before pulling me to the side, but not in depth as much as our conversation, but just you brought it to somebody and I'm like, no, come trip out on me. Come over here.
Right. I went and talked to my sister and I was like, is this really happening? One, I didn't even go into detail with them about what was going on in my head.
Just like, what you see?
Confirm it. Right. That's how I was going around to everybody like, is this really happening right now? Like, what I wasn't explaining what I thought was happening, which is Jarrell leaving me, right? Because, you know,
they could watch this, because they would have. Because the thing is, what did he do?
Right.
Yeah.
My sister was like, they were like, wait, what did they say? Okay, so I said, is this really happening? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, is something like wrong? Like the vibe feels off. I was feeling all these weird vibes. And they were like, I don't know. Why don't you just go talk to him? And I was like, but I was like, well, he's talking to somebody else right now. And they're like, just go talk to him. So I just went over. I had to interrupt you and be like, we need to talk real quick because I'm feeling some vibes and I need you to confirm. Remember, I even told you, I was like, confirm what is happening. Tell me what is happening right now. And Joe was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's happening. What do you think is happening? Yeah. And I was like,
and then she told me, and I was like, that's wild. But once again, first thing is make sure that you be compassionate, like be understanding that everybody has their own different insecurities. And even if you can't understand, pinpoint and write down what the insecurity is, just understand that they may be coming from a separate perspective that you're not coming from.
And they might be intoxicated.
Well, I understood that too. The great thing is, so was I. So, I mean, in reality, that definitely, you want to talk about get rid of your high. You know,
it brought you all the way down.
Talking about bringing it down. Like, I was just like, it was gone. It was a quick power, like the like people shut off that big lever
Right.
and all the electricity in the city go out like that.
Yeah.
It was like quick. So, but first understanding the insecurities, and then the second, just be patient. Be willing to sit there and deal with that person in that moment, not thinking about if they gonna get you when the time comes, or don't think about what they're saying. You gotta take everything with a lot of salt. Excuse me, sorry. You gotta take it with a lot of salt. People say a grain of salt. That type of moment requires a lot of salt. Like most of it won't make sense to you. You already understand that, but you need to speak truth. That was my third thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say understand everybody has their own insecurities and just respect that. Truly respect that. And then the second part would be to what did I say? So understand everybody have their own insecurities. Whatever I just said, play that back. No, but just understand that you need to be patient.
Right.
Right. So everybody has their own insecurities. Understand that you need to be patient. And then the truth.
Speak the truth.
The truth. This is not a time to get your opinions out, any of that. It was about facts.
Right.
To ground somebody, if you're ever angry, if you're ever with a person that's rolling on something or smoke something, snort something, I don't care. Even sometimes it's hard to do with alcohol, but you can still do it with alcohol. If you ever been on a crawl with somebody, sometimes people need angers because everybody can connect with the truth if you're able to deliver it in a way that's good. We were sitting down. I rubbed your back. She's bawling at this point, y'all.
Yeah, I was like sobbing. Like,
yeah. I'm rubbing her back, rubbing her leg, kissing her hand, like dude on Back in the Groove or whatever.
yes. Groove. He kept doing that. I'm like, this boy don't know how to talk.
That's funny. But no, but just trying to make sure that my delivery, the room we were sitting in, we were in your cousin's room, the room, just sitting there and saying, hey, what you think is just weed. It's just, you're hallucinating. None of this is real.
Right.
We came here because it's Thanksgiving. And because we wanted to eat. And because we love your family.
I was even like, but you said you...
Right.
You want to talk about it?
Actually, don't remember what you about to say, but the thing was, oh yeah, sure. yeah. So, that's the thing. That's why I say tell the truth, because there were already beliefs in her sober mind, come from her sober life, meaning like she wasn't tripping out only about the stuff that was happening once she started consuming. If you consume, especially if you smoke like that, you will start tripping out about facts that you know from just life.
Yeah.
While you were sober, things that happened while you were sober, you will bring that in to try to make it make sense.
Yeah.
While you're consuming. For you, it was what? The fact that I lost my ring?
Yes, Jarrell lost his wedding band.
Bum, bum, bum.
Shocker, right? And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, for some reason, he's been trying to break up with me this whole time, and I wasn't accepting it. And so he started to not wear his wedding band to make it more official that we are not together. And I even said that to him, and he was like, no, I've been upset ever since I lost my wedding band. He's been wearing rubber bands on his head and all this stuff just to put a placeholder. He finally got some replacement
multiple
ones. But I
ordered multiple
crazy.
replacements.
The way my mind works amazes me.
This is why, and I hope you enjoyed that story, but this is why, like you mentioned, that the first thing that we decided to fast from was the big one. And that was...
Oh, no, wait.
That was the moment, right?
That happened, and then I was fine for about a week.
Okay.
And then...
okay.
I had another little breakdown where at that point I felt like I was depressed. I didn't know why I was sad. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't know if it was like, if this is from like me not being able to process my grandpa passing away, or me, then my turtle passed away and I felt a lot of guilt about that. And so I just felt very sad, and I didn't know like what to do with these feelings. And so I would just cry for no reason. And to the point where I didn't even feel right being alone in the house. And all I could think about was, I wish I had some weed right now. You know, because weed makes everything better. When I'm sad, what do? Smoke some weed.
Right.
When I'm feeling stressed, overworked, what do? Smoke some weed. And it's not always negative emotions where I run to weed. Even when I'm super happy, excited, about to get lit, turn up.
You know what make this even better?
Weed. So then after that point was when me and Jarrell sat down, and it was like after watching church or whatever, then we decided, you know what? We need to fast. Like, there's a disconnect right now where God is like falling to the wayside, or it's just like a Sunday thing. But these weeks are long and stressful too. Sunday through Sunday, like that's 6 whole days. Make it. Yeah, so we're like, something needs to change.
Monday through Saturday long.
Right. Yeah. So that is when we decided we need to start fasting. And we need to start our morning devotionals back again.
Not the first time we've done it.
Right. We've done this before, but we're trying to make it a habit, like an everyday. Even after this fast, we want to keep doing it, keep doing it. And so, that's where the fast came in, and we're both fasting from weed. And then I also decided to fast from social media, just because I feel like I was like wasting a lot of time on social media, but which is hard because I also want to be a content creator. But I feel like I was consuming more than I was creating. And and that comparison thing, like, that's always in the back of my head. And, you know, wanting to be like other content creators and wanting to create content that is just as good as the next person. And so dealing with all that, I was like, I just need a break from it all. And I need to focus on my relationship with God and me and Jarrell's relationship. And that's what we did.
Yeah. No, I think that was, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing with everybody. No, because that's a real thing. People really be going through, they don't know where to turn. I'll tell you right now, just turn to God. You're like, where do I start? Man, look, just real quick start. Download the Bible app. Yeah. You know, we're not no endorsers or anything. I don't know how that works, but just download the Bible app. All right. Get whatever version that speaks like you speak. Right. So find the version of the Bible that works for you. Right. And of course, we're talking to anybody willing to read the Bible, but more specifically Christians, you know, that already have an understanding of this is God. I can go into the Bible, receive the word, apply it to my life. So simply download the Bible app if you don't already have it downloaded. If you have it downloaded and you don't have your streak going, then go ahead and make sure you start opening this up. And it's just once a day, maybe, to start. It starts like, hey, let's just fast 30 days, 31 days, whatever, right? 1 month. And let's start fasting. Cool. We're fasting, and it starts to feel good, right? So then the thing about it is, you don't want to just be giving yourself pats on the back because you are doing something that you know is closer to God's favor and what he would want for you to be doing as an act in life, right? But you also want to be you want to actually look to build and get something out of it. The most important thing is I get excited about actually understanding the word more than I have before. The dopest part we like about reading the Bible, though, is you can read the same scripture over and over, that's a lot of people's excuse for why they don't go back. But when you read it and you're in a different season, you're in a different mindset, you're more mature or less mature, or you're just in a different place, you get something different from it. Right. No different than watching your favorite movie over and over and over and over again. Right? Like Sophia with Rush Hour. Right? Our daughter loves Rush Hour. The whole series. Number 4 is coming out. Gotta take it to the movie. Whatever. But yeah, so when you look, when you read those same scriptures over, or if you're, the best way we like to do it is find a plan. Download the Bible app, find a plan. You can do it by yourself, that's fine if that's your style, but an accountability partner is always best. So invite a friend, invite a loved one. But most importantly, if you have a partner, please make sure your partner is part of that invitation, because you guys are supposed to be spiritually growing together. And that's what's been working for us. So the fast has been super dope, phenomenal experience so far. It's not our first time doing it, but we need to tap back in.
Yeah.
And it's always important. God is not one of those things that you can pick up and put down. As soon as you put him down, even lowering God like that,
Here come the enemy.
boom, devil right down on your back. And I always say, we were describing like the devil or evil or whatever to Sophia and stuff like, and it was like, it's not this big presence. Everybody think the dude 10 feet tall with the horns and like super buffed up, like 1,000, 2,000 pounds, and an 8-12 pack is gonna walk up to you, you know, looking like a centaur or whatever, and then he, no, the devil be like, be the baddest chick for a dude. It'd be the baddest woman you ever seen in your life. If you struggle with sex, porn, promiscuity, all that kind of stuff, it could be a whole boatload of money.
Right.
If you've been putting money over God, it's what they're attacking your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Simple. So fasting allows you the opportunity to call out to God and say, hey, please get closer to me right now. Because I'm clearly hurt and I'm damaged and in need of the best thing possible, which is a relationship with you, which would give me everything I need. But what's happening is I'm running to insert vice here. Right? I'm running
whatever your distraction is.
Yeah. Whatever it is. Porn. Work. Money.
It could be food.
Food.
Yeah.
People, that's the normal one. People, most of the time when you talk about fasting, the first thing everybody gonna think about is food.
Right.
So people,
or like sweets, or like soda, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you want to get deeper, what's that other stuff?
What's the other stuff?
Other stuff you can get distracted from, you know.
Yeah, because that was the thing with us. It wasn't a food fast.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because we have no issue with food. You get what I'm saying? We weren't running the food. We weren't stress eating. That wasn't what we were doing. So we had to go give up the things that we would run to comfort us instead of running to the comforter himself. Right. And
this doesn't mean that we're never smoking again. We're not consuming ever.
Yeah,
again.
talk about that.
We are still going to be consuming cannabis. We just won't reach for cannabis first when something is going on in our lives. We'll reach for God first. And I think for me, it was more of like an overindulging, like...
Yeah, us.
Us, you too? Oh, really? Thanks.
I wouldn't be fasting it just to be supportive. Like, that's real talk.
Yes, you would.
No, I mean, I would. I'm a supportive person, but I mean, we really were going through it.
Yeah.
I was smoking while working. We work from home.
Right.
We work from home. So, majority of the time at least. But we were running. Oh, man, this just happened. I don't know how I'm going to get through.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how I'm going to.
You know, cannabis is supposed to be a medicine. You know, you're supposed to be intentional about how you use it. You don't need to overindulge, like getting high to high to high, the highest of the high. It's just like, it's supposed to be like, you know, like something to like ease you, like mellow you a little bit.
It's just, I think of it casual. When you have a glass of wine, you know, you're not an alcoholic, but you have beer, you have, you know, a whiskey, rum, whatever you like, right? For instance, I can say for us, the reason we can say that is because we don't have these issues with alcohol. So alcohol is more like, I gotta be in this setting. We don't keep tons of alcohol in our house. You know, no knock on anybody that does. You know, at different time we had more alcohol in the house. But our thing was, why alcohol? Why have a hangover? We could just smoke. But then it went from we could smoke after work to smoking during work. I could smoke after I have a whole bunch of different issues and I let it build up to the climax, and then we go have an adventure, a date, or an outing. We go out somewhere and have some fun, and we smoke first, to after every single issue, smoke. And not one of those times, to keep it a buck, not one of those times was I like, let me go in my Bible.
Right. Let me pray.
Yeah.
Let me meditate. You know, people pissing me off at work. I'm like, oof.
Yeah.
In the air.
Because knowing how to roll up is not knowing yourself.
Right.
In our opinion. You know, it's not knowing yourself. It's literally just finding another resource or tool to help you deal with it, but you can overdo it.
Covering up what's really going on. When the healthy tool would be to go to God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but now you mentioned, of course, hey, it's not the last time. Now, if God say, yo, boom, you done, then you done. Yeah. Why? Because now we understand that our relationship with God is the most important thing. We just still happen to like cannabis. It's going to be a rough season to try to get like the balance of that. To be honest, I anticipate it being rough if it's not great. But it'll be a rough season following this designated fasting time if we don't extend it, whenever it ends, to when you go back to incorporating what it is. Now, a lot of people would say you're just not supposed to go back. It's like taking training wheels off. But like, you don't never put the training wheels back on. But I think there's some things, and we believe there's some things that are new, like having those healthier relationships with cannabis. Just because you smoke cannabis or consume cannabis, ingest cannabis, everybody ain't potheads.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So there's a way you can have a healthy relationship. Like I said, if I told you I consume cannabis the way you drink wine, and you ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're an alcoholic.
Right. Right?
So that's the only time it becomes an issue. But, enjoy it. Enjoy life. It's a plant. It was put here. You know how it works. We can try to back that up as much as possible and justify it in our own way. But it's your personal relationship that you have with the things that you deem vices. We want to move cannabis for us out of the vice category and put it into more of just like something that you do to enjoy life as well. Mm-hmm. I can enjoy life without cannabis. Right. I can enjoy life with cannabis. I can enjoy life with a glass of wine. I can enjoy life without ever touching wine again. Right. That's the reason you're fasting. And
sometimes you just need a break, y'all. Y'all feel like you need a tea break sometimes just to bring that tolerance level down a little bit.
Straight up.
It's the perfect time at the end of the year.
Yep.
Take your yearly tea break.
Come on.
About a month long. And then go into the new year feeling refreshed, clear-headed, and is that right?
I like that, yeah.
Okay. you just, it might spark more creativity in you.
There's a lot of good reasons. A lot of good reasons for cannabis, man. Y'all know you don't hear from us. It's just what it is. But, you just got to make sure that life is about balance and that you get that balance. Make sure you get that balance. Mm-hmm. It could be a person that's toxic in your life. Get them the hell out your life. It could be something that you're doing. There's a lot of toxic habits. You ain't the victim. Yeah. Sometimes you are it. Like I said, going out and being peaceful and loving on people just simply because it's something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Therapy.
Ooh, let's talk about therapy. That's another thing that during this fast we have been working on, is trying to find a therapist. Because this next year we want to find a therapist and keep it going. It's a part of we want it to be a part of our life. Mm-hmm. And therapy is not cheap. I wish it was free, and because I feel like everybody needs therapy. We wouldn't have so many angry people in the world if everybody had someone to talk to.
Yeah.
The first part of healing is communication. You have to be able to communicate what you're going through, how you're feeling, in order to heal from that. So we are still looking for therapists,
the correct
the right person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the vibes have to be right. I want it to be someone that I can relate to,
Right.
and someone who I feel like I can really open up to,
Mm-hmm.
and get rid of, you know, get rid of these negative emotions about myself and just about life, and really work through, you know, past trauma and begin healing, you know.
Yeah, my thing is I want balance. Again, really, that's my focus for what I want to achieve with therapy. Like, I'm a person that I accept a lot, and I think it could be a hindrance and it could also be a superpower. On the superpower sense, I just think that being able to accept a lot is being able to accept that things exist, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of anything via therapy. I more so want to learn to live with its existence. I want to be able to understand that, hey, this is out there.
Mm-hmm. And you need, like, what tools you can use to deal with that stuff.
And some stuff ain't out there, it's in here. You know what I mean? Some stuff is a part of your life. You could change your life, I guess, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's easier said than done for some things.
Right.
Everything in therapy, you know, you realize, like, you're not demonized. People think of, I'm going to get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Everything ain't bad. Your relationship with those things are bad. Like we just talked about with cannabis, right? So we go, but there's so many different things you start going through therapy that they're bringing up and cooking up. Yes, some of that stuff got to go. It can't be near you for the person that you say you want to be, for living your life with whatever purpose you have for that time or grand purpose that you have, or life or whatever. You have this idea of who you want to be and who you think God wants you to be, or who everybody wants you to be, or whatever. And this thing is hindering you from doing so. So it's like having a better relationship with it, not trying to fight everything like it's some war. I had to fight a lot in my life, and I'd rather not have to fight to kill something, basically. Mm-hmm. My issue would be, hey, having a better relationship with things. Things that I fasted, I want a better relationship with those things that I put back or took off the burner when we were fasting. So therapy, I would like to use as a resource and a tool to be able to create a healthier relationship with everything. Right. You know, and the more therapy goes, the more time goes on, the more therapy, you'll start working through all of life, basically. But you're probably going to start with, well, based on what your therapist starts with. Maybe it's the small things, maybe it's the big things to get you down to a safe level. Who knows? But that's what I want to do, find balance through therapy. So we definitely are pro therapy. Mm-hmm. We're definitely pro God. Mm-hmm. And we still pro cannabis. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's about, once again, it's about balance. That's our balance. Yes, all right?
Healthy balance.
Our healthy balance. We're still looking to be better people. And we hope that 2023 is a great display of that for us, even if it's not shown to the outside world, just so that we could be able to see it within ourselves. When we look in the mirror, I want my wife, for example, to be able to see a better, stronger, more sure version of Jasmine. You know, that would be great. When if I don't see it, I'm sure I'll see it. You know how you just know with your partner, but I want, as long as you see it, that's what's most important. That you see this better version of Jasmine, that you actually feel that you've made progress towards those voids that you have in your life, or find progress in eliminating the things that shouldn't be there, and find progress in creating a healthy balance with things that you cannot get rid of. You know?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the Duncan Dynasty podcast. Yeah, all that. Yeah, follow the Dynasty is the handle on TikTok, and Duncan Dynasty is the handle on everything else.
Yeah.
Right? So y'all make sure that you love on your loved ones. Start the habit of everything we were talking about. Start your day with God.
Start it now.
Start it now.
Don't wait till the new year. Do it now.
I ain't gonna lie, you probably watching this in the new year. Happy New Year, but start it now. Peace.